Hello everyone, and I have a very exciting chess game to show you by the magician from Riga, Mikhail Tal from 1985, and his opponent is a chess international master from the United Arab Emirates, Saeed Ahmed Saeed. Okay, so let's see what happened, but a few days ago was Mikhail Tal's birthday, so in the 9th of November 9 was Mikhail Tal's birthday. I think you have to see this amazing chess game. So Tal starts the game with the English opening c4, e6, d4, knight to f6, knight to c3, d5, bishop to g5, developing the knight e3. So the position is transposing to the queen's gambit declined. C takes on d5, e takes on d5, bishop to d3, bishop to e7, developing the queen and castling, knight to f3, rook over, lining the rook with the queen, and Tal castled. Knight goes back, repositioning the knight, and then knight to g6 after a3, and knight gets in, and we have knight to g4, exchanging the bishops, and knight takes, bishop takes, rook over, lining the rook with the queen. And at the correct time, Tal wants to push the pawn, so bishop goes back and then f5, threatening f4, threatening f5, and then f6. So knight goes back and f5, and Tal is basically threatening to push the pawn. We have queen to d6. If f6, then e4, and white is doing very well. So f5, and simply threatening to push the f pawn to f6, queen to d6, queen to f2, c5, f6. As planned, we have g6. Black has dark square weakness. If queen takes, pawn takes, and finally knight takes on d5, and this is winning for white. You can see that black also has a weakness. So pushing the pawn, but Tal is aiming the weak dark squares. C takes, attacking the knight, but Mikhail Tal is sacrificing the knight and he wants to checkmate the king. We have knight to e6, defending with the knight. Of course, if capturing the knight, black is getting mated. So knight to e6, and then opening the door to the rook. So threatening rook takes knight, and then eliminating the defender elimination tactic, and checkmating the king with queen to g7. So queen goes back for defending. Queen goes back, knight to c7, queen to g3, defending the knight, and then exchanging the rooks, and Tal has the open e-file for his rook, defending the queen with blocking h4, queen over, queen to f4, h6. So Tal is also advancing with his h-pawn, bishop back, king over, rook up, b6, bishop to d3, king over, and now shuffling around. Black is just waiting, he is making some waiting moves. And Tal played knight to f4, and this looks like a blunder. But this was part of a plan. It looks like a blunder because after rook over, well, where is the queen going? The knight is blocking the queen, queen to f4 idea, or queen to g3. So this is actually a skewer. So Tal has to capture the knight, and Mikhail Tal sacrificed the exchange for the attack, and he creates complications, typical Mikhail Tal. But in this position, if a5, probably Mikhail Tal was planning to sacrifice a piece. Bishop takes, and actually this is a very strong move, because if pawn takes bishop, then knight takes, forking king and the queen. So rook over, and Tal simply captures the knight, but after rook takes on e3, Mikhail Tal played a sudden blow. Knight takes on g6. Tal sacrificed his knight, very aggressive, typical Mikhail Tal. And then bishop takes on g6. Well, knight takes on g6 was forking king and the queen. This opens the line to the queen. Now the immediate threat is queen to h7, checkmate. So black has to defend. This is the only defense. But then queen to f4, and this is a dangerous move. Forking the rook and the mate threat. So rook to e1, check. But if something like rook to b3, let's say. Then white can capture on h6, and the only defense is with the queen because of the f pawn. Black is stuck, so we can take queen takes on h7, checkmate. And also because of the queen, black can't move, so black can only defend with the queen, and then this is going to be checkmate. So queen to f4, and then black has this check, and now again Tal is threatening mate. So queen to f8, but if accepting Tal's other sacrifice, Tal also intended to sacrifice his bishop after the exchange sacrifice, then full steam ahead, f7, and how to defend pushing the pawn queen. Black can stop the passed pawn. The only defense is with the rook. Rook goes back, and we can capture the rook, check, and then this is force, check, and checking the king, and then capturing the bishop. And what's wrong with this picture? Well, actually, white is 2 pawns up, and this was very forced, and this endgame is winning for white. Okay, so queen to f4, and then rook check, and then queen to f8 with defending the critical h pawn, and f7 threatening queen to f6, so rook goes back defending. Well, if something like rook to e2, then we have check, only defense because of the pawn and also because of the bishop. Black is stuck, black can't move the king, this is the only move, and then we can push the pawn, promote the queen is pinned, this is check and mate. So rook to e6, and Tal simply captures the bishop. So this was actually a double threat after pushing the pawn, both threatening checkmate in 2 moves, and at the same time attacking the bishop. So black has to defend the mate threat, but then this is dropping the bishop with hitting the rook. Now Tal has 2 pawns for the exchange, plus he has the big attack. This is difficult for black, so rook to f6 defending the rook, and this is a very difficult position. Queen to g3, rook over, and black is playing some waiting moves, so shuffling around again, and then king to g2, queen to d8, queen to f5, king to g7. Well, Tal was threatening actually checkmate in 1 move. Queen to f6, check and mate. So queen to f5, king to g7, defending queen to f6, checkmate idea. And then exclamation point, bishop to h7, and Tal is threatening checkmate in 2 moves. So we have rook takes on f7, and black is actually, this is a very difficult position for black. So if a5, then we can check the king. King goes back. I mean, obviously, if king goes to the left, it is going to be checkmate in just 1 move. So check, but this is also going to get checkmated in 2 moves. Pawn takes queen, checkmate. So rook takes, but Tal checks the king, and then Tal captures the pawn, and now Mikhail Tal is creating 2 connected pass pawns. So blocking with the rook, bishop back, and at the correct time Mikhail Tal is going to push the g pawn. So king up, queen to g5, and then Tal captures the queen, and then bishop to g6. The rook is trapped actually in this position, incredibly. King to g7, king to h4, king to h6, a4, and this is Zugzwang. Incredible, and black resigned in this hopeless position. One possible continuation example, also this rook is trapped. So a5, b3, and of course black can't move the king, because then we will capture the rook. So what else? Rook takes bishop, pawn takes, and then white is a pawn up, and this king pawn endgame is completely winning for white. Black is hopeless. So king to f6, actually this is just very basic stuff. White is winning very easily, and white is going to collect these pawns, and then he is going to push the pawn, promote the queen, easily winning for white. And what do you think about this chess game? Fantastic, isn't it? So I hope to see you next time with more Mikhail Tal chess games in these days, as Mikhail Tal's birthday was a few days ago, so maybe we should dedicate this week to Mikhail Tal and his chess games. Thanks again. Take care and bye bye.